And we have with us again Mr. Lieutenant Mark Taylor and Prophetic Voice. Mark Taylor. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. Did I give the salute now? Oh, that's at the end. That's the end of the show, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, brother. Okay. All right. We've got a lot to cover. A
Yep.
lot's happened since last week. And hey, I appreciate you being back. I'm glad you didn't get lost on your way here. How's that hat treating you, by the way? I've never got that update
Yeah,
since
no,
last
I
time.
don't know. I think I'm smarter from wearing it. I mean, you know what I mean? There's nothing can penetrate the grape this way. You know what I mean?
There you go. Hey.
So, the old EMF hat. So,
Perfect.
yep,
Perfect.
yep.
All right, man. Well, hey, how you been? And is there anything on your heart before we get started? Anything on your heart you wish to share with the audience before we actually get into the real meat and potatoes of everything?
Well, I just think everyone needs to get prepared because we're on the brink of war with Iran. You know what I mean? I'm sure we're probably going to go in and do something at some point. Uh, People are probably asking why. Well, there's probably multiple reasons why. I don't have the answers to everything. I thought we were supposed to be keeping out of these wars, but hey, that's just, it is what it is. But again, Venezuela had to be done. Maybe there's some stuff going on with Iran. We don't know that it has to be done here, guys. You know what I mean? Maybe some stuff behind the scenes that has to be taken care of. Regime change. I know some of this has to do probably with the monetary system, backed by gold or this, that, and the other. Who knows? There's a lot of theories flying around out there. So who knows? This is probably a controlled demolition of the system, if you will, and this is probably part of it. But
Good.
let's just hope it doesn't land us into World War III. That's something we don't want.
That is something we don't want, and I'm glad you kind of brought that up. While we're on the subject, you do have that prophecy, America, America, and I want to bring it back to that real quick. You have the
Hmm.
prophecy, America, America, where you say OPEC, OPEC, take a hike. Now,
Right.
Iran and Venezuela both
Hmm.
were in OPEC.
Right.
So they were the ones who were kind of navigating and steering the ship with OPEC. And
Hmm.
so, do you believe that that's prophecy in motion at that point?
Could be. I mean, it says OPEC, OPEC, take a hike. For I'm tired of your evil energy spikes. When my president takes office, you will shake and quake. You will say my America no longer needs us, and that is true. For she will be energy independent from our red, white, and blue. For a sign will be given when prices go low. For a gallon of gas will be $1 and below. Now, look, matter of fact, I just came from the gas station, literally. I went to get lunch right before me and you talked, and gas prices were starting to go down here in Florida. Now they're going back up. I just paid $3 a gallon, 2.99 a gallon.
Yep.
So, is some of this stuff going to take some time? Yeah, it's going to take some time. I'm sure with pending war right now with Iran, I mean, it's probably going to go up.
Yep.
Prices are going to go up. Everything's going to go up. This is what happens when you go to war, guys. This is the big elites make. This is how they make their money.
Yeah.
So,
And you did kind of touch on it a little bit, but I really want to get your I guess real answer and your raw answer. Do you believe that Iran's necessary to mess with right now? Just like Venezuela is. Do you feel the same way about Iran that you feel about Venezuela?
maybe there's something linked between Iran. I know Iran was down in Venezuela, so maybe this has to do with that. Maybe they were messing with our elections that we don't know about yet. That hasn't been determined or hasn't been disclosed to the general public yet. So
Yeah.
right now, we're just going to have faith in this, in the fact that there's a reason why we're going in here and doing this. Now, do I agree with being the world's police right now? Eh, not right now because there's too many things need to be done on American soil right now. Quite honestly, some of this stuff, Venezuela again had to be done. We got to fix the electoral process. Need a regime change there. We need regime change in Iran. Don't get me wrong, but some of the stuff, Jay, to me is taking priority over what needs to be done
Oh,
here on American soil at times. Some of the stuff could take a back seat for a little bit until again, we don't have all the facts, but it could take a back seat until we get America on her feet again. To me, in list of priority, the number one priority should be the illegals, getting them out of here. We're not doing it. Number two should be the electoral process. Still hasn't been taken care of. Number three is the geoengineering. We've seen this all across the country right now. Now we got fires breaking out in Oklahoma and Texas. Our prayers go out to those people out there with 60, 70 mile an hour winds. These brush fires are just wreaking havoc out there. So The geoengineering, he has not said one word in almost 10 years that he's been out there doing this as far as the geoengineering. That's something that's near and dear to me because I've watched my state get obliterated 4 hurricanes in a row, which I've lived through countless hurricanes my entire life, born and raised in Florida, but specifically these last four where I've seen entire cities wiped off the map, which is pretty much similar to a small tactical nuke, if you will, to wipe a city off the entire map and take out that many people. You know what I mean? So, and then
Yeah.
nothing be done and nothing be said from the president himself on it. So, yeah, that is a pet peeve of mine because they've got to get control of the weather. Who is the country that's pulling the strings behind the weather? Because they're using weather as a weapon and we're not doing anything. To me, that should warrant a military response. If you want to do a military response, let's find out who's behind killing innocent people here and destroying American cities right now with the weather weapons.
I wonder if it's not multiple countries, but more than that,
Could be.
it might be the reason why everybody seems to be trying to plant their flag on the northern Arctic. I
Could be.
wonder if there's a weapon there
Could be.
that's either being ran or controlled. Now, I'm not here to stir up conspiracy. We don't
Right.
have fact on any of this, but I mean, without a good question, you can't gain revelation. So
Right.
it's always good to ask these types of questions and to never leave anything out of the realm of possibility. We used to believe that it was a conspiracy of weaponized weather, right? And so
Right.
that is very obvious to people now. Even for an example, for me yesterday, I was driving up just a little north, and snow and hail started hitting my vehicle as I was driving out of nowhere. It wasn't in the forecast, and when I got out of my car, this hail did not look like regular hail that I've seen growing up.
Right.
It looks much different.
Right.
So, and I realize that it's every weather event may be a little different, but the fact that everything that's weather related looks different
Yeah.
nowadays and how it reacts differently when you put it
Right.
under certain chemical reactions like fire or things like that, it's all manipulated and it's all very in your face. And so I think that maybe this is a process of people stop to get people to stop thinking that everything's conspiracy and maybe going into the realm of we really are under assault with
Oh yeah.
everything, our food,
Yeah.
our weather.
Everything's been weaponized.
Yeah.
Food, water, the air we breathe, everything's been weaponized against us to get rid of all of humanity.
Yep.
Vaccines, and again, this is where I get upset with the president. As much as I love and respect him, I appreciate everything he's doing. He's not done a dang thing, not one thing to stop this stuff as far as the weather is concerned, or the weaponization of all of this. I've said he's very good at taking care of the enemy outside
Yep.
of America. But when it comes from the enemy from within, which is what that prophecy God gave me is about, I got to give Trump and the administration an F rating from protecting America from the enemy from within because right now they got an F as far as I'm concerned. Because again, the illegals, the food, the weather, all of these things are hammering America right now, hammering America, and we're over here worried about rebuilding Gaza.
And I've asked this before, and I'm going to bring it up again because we're heading that way. Where we're headed next is we're going to bring up something about the arrest that we'd like to see in the United
Right.
States. But before I get into that, again, I'll have to ask the question. Even if we see arrests, do we have the court system that will allow those arrests to be um, be
Prosecuted.
processed the way that it should be
Right.
a free and fair
Right.
judicial system to actually get these people who have committed such heinous crimes to be rightfully punished for their crimes.
Right. Right.
And so it's so hard because we want to see accountability
Right.
to the people who are in certain files or in certain circles, such as the main politicians that have maybe done really ugly and terrible things, whether it be to children or other people, blackmail of sorts. But even if we see the arrest, do we live in a system today where they're properly punished for their crimes?
Well, right now with Pam Bondi, I'd say no.
Right.
You with Cash Patel, Christy Nome, all these, this entire administration, except for Pete Hegseth, is almost a joke. It's like you are watching kind of a movie play out here, or whatever the case may be, because nothing's happened.
And that would have to be federally prosecuted, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well,
For
treason, yeah, absolutely. So some of these guys have committed treason. So it's the treason, and it's the crimes against the
humanity.
kids, the crimes
Yeah,
against humanity, all of these things that need to be taken care of, and none of it's getting taken care of right now. None of it.
that's right.
And we're over a year into this administration now, and now we've turned the corner to campaign season, which we all know what Susie Wiles has said, but she's going to have Trump doing, which is campaigning the entire time, which pulls him away and gets his focus away from the America First agenda, as if it's not bad enough as it is already. We need America First back, you know what I mean? But Susie Wiles and her people are the ones who are purposely infiltrated the president and are purposely steering him off the course of America First.
So let's talk about those arrests. Let me bring that up. Share my screen with you, Mark. And let's bring that into focus. And here we go.
And probably where you sit at home, no one is in jail. Period.
I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Excuse me.
And probably where you sit at home, no one is in jail. Period. The end result. Where are the arrests for the people who lied about COVID, who stole billions of dollars? Russiagate. Where's the Supreme Court leaker? We never found that guy. How about the other guy in the Senate sex briefing room tape? Who's that? People who trafficked children on Epstein Island. Where are the trials for congressional insider trading? The J6 committee. Anything. We call this in the military a target-rich environment, and yet no arrests. I don't care that you arrested some 68 some odd sub-IQ people from Somalia and Minnesota. Okay?
Amen.
Where are the arrests for the people who orchestrated this fraud? You know the Somalis didn't do that.
Yep.
I like Carl Higbie, man. I tell you, he calls it out. You know what I mean? And this is the frustration. We're going to show. Now, I gave that prophetic warning, Jay, with the president. All right, let's do you have the president with the picture with Susie Wiles? Let me just show you who's behind the demon behind the president. Okay, right now, who's influencing the president?
Yeah.
I want you to look at this lady's eyes.
Hold on. Get out of here. Why are you doing that? Stop. There we go. Let's see. Susie Wiles.
Yeah,
Susie O. Susie.
there it is, right there. Look at this lady.
Yep.
Look at this, folks. Does anything need to be said?
Woo.
That old saying, "A picture's worth 1,000 words." Right
Man,
there.
dude.
There's the principality behind the president.
That's pretty creepy, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Almost like Senator Palpatine from Star Wars.
This is well, I think we all know what the white eyes mean, okay? What that symbolizes. So anyhow,
Wow.
this is who's purposely steering the president off the America First agenda right here.
Yeah.
This is the one right here.
By the way, guys, I do realize that last video at the top was cut off a little bit. You may even see that in some of the videos. Just take the context as being as sometimes not always being perfect, but it is what it is. Okay, so you could hear what was going on. So
okay, we can get rid of this. I can't look at her anymore because it's just too demonic.
I understand.
But let's go over a couple of these videos. Now, I gave a prophetic warning, Jay, years ago, and we've talked about it multiple times on this show, where that the Patriots are going to take matters into their own hands. The people have had enough of the president and his games, his psyops. And this is where people get aggravated with me. I had a guy come on my Truth Social, said, Trump's not losing his base. This is we're the strongest we've ever been. Really? How's that working out for you, bro? Because fact of the matter is, I'm fixing to show you 3 videos here where they've had enough of the president. We've been showing multiple videos. Every show now we're showing videos because this is accelerating. They're accelerating to the point where people are finished with this president. And the problem is the president's not listening because he has a gatekeeper called Susie Wiles that keeps this information purposely from getting to him. Yeah. So let's show the first video here.
The one on the couch?
No, I won't do that one last.
All right, so these two are combined together because I had to watch some language. So I edited these two together. We're going to do 2 of them.
These are 2 separate videos.
So let me exit out of this. And then go down to our videos here. All right, here we go.
If I lose followers over this video, good. Watch this clip and I'll be right back.
I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else. There was a conspiracy against me, literally, by Epstein and other people. But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
What would you say to people
like
who feel like they haven't gotten
healthcare,
justice, Mr. President?
something that people care about?
Oh, we care. I'm a conservative and I voted for you and I care about this more than anything. There are very powerful men in this country doing terrible things to children, walking around like it's all good. Why hasn't anyone been arrested? I don't care what's going on in any other country because I live here in the USA. And I could be wrong, but it seems like our whole country is ran by rich pedophiles who do whatever they want and have no consequences. I voted for you to bring the fucking consequences.
Oh.
You're the president. Do your job. You have all the power. These people should be put to death or at the very least put in prison. And you're not just a president. You're a father. And I'm a father. And our job above everything else is to protect our children. Do your job.
So,
Okay, you want to go over that real quick?
So there he is, angry, telling the president to do his job. See, some people are looking at this, Jay, that this is dereliction of duty from the president because he's not doing what's supposed to happen. What the people voted him in for, some could say this is dereliction of duty. I don't care if it is. Look, forget this nonsense. This is a military op, okay? I don't care if it is a military op. Trump, or I'm going to prove it here in a minute. Trump has the power to pull the trigger anytime he wants, and we're going to prove that right now in a minute. So here's another video stacked on top of this one where this guy's almost in tears. So go ahead.
All right, here we go.
I accidentally just got the Skippy video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please, I'm begging you. I'm telling you right now, don't go look it up, okay? It was sent to me by someone who had good intentions, and they wanted me to call it out on my platforms because I have such a huge following on my Instagram and Facebook. This message is for President Trump. It's not. Earlier today, P.S. Trump, I'm gonna say that. Earlier today, you said it's time for us to move on from these Epstein files. The you talking about? Who's been arrested? Who's been arrested? There are people currently right now, like the Skippy, who is in the government. And if you can watch that video and hear that child and say we need to move on, you are worthless in my eyes until you do something. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. We need to burn this mother to the ground until every single person that was involved in this my guys, I know my platform isn't political. I feel like at this point, if you're not saying anything, you're complicit. Like you're okay with what happened to these women, these children, these young boys, these men. And it was done by the highest powers in government. It was done by the most powerful people that are supposed to protect. I'm begging you, don't go listen to the video. I wish I'll never forget it. I turned it off as soon as I kind of got an idea what I was watching. But that's something I will never get out of my head. Burn this to the ground until we expose every one of them. Trump, that is your job. Do your job.
Okay. Do you see how the anger is beginning to build?
Yep.
Every time we show a video, the anger is getting worse and worse because the people have had enough. They're about to take matters into their own hands. I am telling you, they're going to drag these politicians' dead bodies through the streets if they keep it up. And the shooting starts because they're going to figure that once the shooting starts, we got nothing else left to lose at this point. This is what we don't want. This is why I have been so critical of the president to get off his hands and act. Because, look, if there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, I get it. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? If they need more time, Jay, in order to compile things to make these high-level arrests, then make one or two high-profile arrests, perp walk them on national television in handcuffs, and it's not enough to arrest them. You got to prosecute them and throw them in prison.
Right. Yep.
Do it on national television, and it will buy you some time. It will buy America some time. It will show the people that you are serious about holding people accountable. And then maybe it will instill some hope in people and they'll show up at the polls, because this is what's fixing to happen. He's fixing to hand the Democrats the midterms. I don't give a crap how long Susie Wiles can have him out there parading around on stage 24/7, 365 from here on till the midterms. It's not going to do a darn bit of good if the Patriots are angry and they're going to say, okay, why am I going to go vote? It's not going to matter.
Right.
That's exactly what happened in Texas 2 or 3 weeks ago, when the most conservative county in the country just was handed to the Democrats for the first time, because nobody showed up at the polls, because people are losing hope. When you rob people of hope, you lose the will to fight. He has to instill some hope in people. No amount of words coming out of your mouth, because look, nobody's even listening to the president right now that I know of. Everybody I talk to is like, what? I don't even know what to believe coming out of his mouth. Because one minute it's a psyop, the next minute it's maybe some truth, and the next minute he's going over here. We don't know what's truth and what's not. We don't know who to believe is one of the biggest things that I hear, and I don't feel sorry for the president, because this is the atmosphere that he has created, unfortunately. So now we see the anger in just those 2 videos alone. I want to play the third one, because here is what's fixing to happen right here.
It's time, America. I didn't serve this country, just like you guys didn't serve this country, for rapists and pedophiles. I have heard and seen enough, and it is time that we get together and start making plans. This is not going to change. This administration is letting this go, and they are continuing to let these people run this country. It is time that we unite together, stand together to stop this corruption. All you prayer warriors, please start praying for the men and women that are preparing for this, because we're going to need you more than ever. What side of history are you going to be on? There's a group of people making a platform so that we can get off social media, so that we aren't suppressed and silenced, so that we can unite and group together. This is good versus evil. This isn't political. This isn't an agenda. This is the prince of this world trying to take what's left. God be with you all.
All right. Do you understand that this is a veteran that's talking? These
Oh,
are
yeah.
veterans that are coming together, that are fixing to put the fear of God in this country, because that is the problem right now, even with President Trump. He has no fear of the Lord. None.
Mhm.
Zero. Zilch. And people can attack me for that all they want to. I don't care. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to call out what God tells me to speak. I'm going to write what God tells me to write. And so the fact of the matter is, there are mistakes being made, and people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that their idol is making a mistake. I get attacked all the time on Truth Social. I can't believe Mark said that about Trump. Or, this is a part of the plan. Grab your popcorn. People are done. Look, I'm here as a watchman on the wall, Jay. We are fixing to enter into a civil war in this country, because we're too worried about Jared Kushner and his deal with Gaza.
Mhm.
We're too worried about what's going on in other countries right now. Again, certain things need to be done national security wise, like Venezuela. Don't know the whole story behind Iran, but everybody's going to look at Iran right now at this point, because nobody really knows what's going on with Iran. They're going to look at it like this. All this is for is a distraction for the Epstein files.
Yeah.
That's the way people are going to look at this. I'm just telling you now. People are going to start pointing fingers. Oh, we're going to war now because they released some of the Epstein lists. So this is why we're going to war, is to change the narrative. It's the same playbook.
Mhm.
So, because they haven't explained why we're going to war, why we're fixing to go to war. So, again, people get mad at me all they want to. I'm going to continue to call it out, Jay, because people attack me constantly for calling this out with President Trump, because they don't want their little idol hurt. And that is the problem right now with what God is seeing in all of this. God is going to humble. Look, now I'm hearing the Ukraine stuff is falling apart again. He was campaigning and bragging and bragging and bragging how I can have it done in 24 hours. We're over a year into this, and it's falling apart again for like the 10th time. Why is this happening, Jay? There's prophetic sign after prophetic sign after sign that God is giving, that he is trying to humble this president. This president is not yielding. He is not listening. And so, look out.
Yeah.
Look out. Pride comes before a fall.
Got a question for you, and I don't remember, and I really wish I did. At one point, I think it was sometime That's what it was. You have a word about the blood pressure of America.
Yep.
Do you believe that that's taken place yet, or
I believe that was Charlie Kirk.
do you believe so?
I believe it was Charlie Kirk. Now, again, prophetic words can have several layers of revelation, just like one scripture can. Now,
I wanted to
so
bring to the point of, though, you did also say at some point that America's at a boiling point,
right.
and we're headed that way.
No, we're there now.
You believe we're there now?
I believe we're there now.
Prophetically.
Prophetically, I think we are on the cusp of something here that if this president does not act, that when shots are fired, look, you just had 2 guys on the Texas overpass shooting into traffic here a couple of weeks ago. I'm surprised in Texas why they didn't shoot back.
Yeah.
At some point, Americans are going to start shooting back, and that's when it's not going to be good.
I know from personal experience in the South, born and raised there. There's a lot of people who are driving around with a gun rack in the back of their truck.
Oh yeah, make gun racks great again, because I mean they're coming back.
I agree. Yeah,
they're coming back. I mean, I remember driving around as a kid having a gun rack in my truck.
Yeah, it was normal.
It was normal. You'd have a rifle sitting right there in the rack of your truck.
Yep, you had a couple of 20.
Wouldn't even think twice
couple
about
22s, one shotgun, and then a long
normal.
range 308 or something like that, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is going to be beyond that. This is not going to be hunting rifles.
Oh, I know.
This time around.
Yep. And we're headed that way. I mean.
Yep.
Yeah. I hope no matter what that the Lord's behind it, and that this isn't just another plan of man, and
right.
Because without God being on the side of the righteous who are willing to stand up and fight for those who can't fight for themselves, I really hope that the Lord really allows us to come out unscathed, especially those who have the heart for these children and who have the heart for the nation, to be led back to actual societal morality. And I don't know. There's a lot of corruption we have to deal with. So
yeah, there's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. And so again, forget about Gaza, forget about all of this right now. We need to clean up America, but somehow we're policing the rest of the world right now. So
would this be a good time to bring up that picture of Trump that you sent me this morning in the Truth Social post?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Bring that up, please.
That's what
Glad you brought that up.
That's what I figured. Go ahead and see this.
So,
I didn't share my screen with you. Excuse me, Mark. Let me get that going.
So I want to talk about this for a second, because I have been attacked, I don't know how many years, about people saying, well, this is a military operation. Trump's not in control. Okay, guys, I have said before that Trump can pull the trigger anytime he wants to. And this was a post that he retruthed out himself. The president retruthed it out himself. And it says right here, people that doubted will soon see. What is it that it says right here? I will be the one to shut it down. This tells you Trump is in control and can pull the trigger anytime he flipping wants to. He's bragging about it right here.
And you said he posted this.
That's it, right there.
He did. And for you guys who can't see it, let me bring it down for you. Yeah, so Trump posted this picture.
Yeah.
You can see it right here.
He posted it.
So, just so you know.
For all you guys out there to keep attacking me saying this is a military op or this, that, and the other, he can pull the trigger anytime he wants to. This is not on God's timeline. This is on man's time. That's been my point all along. Because if he's listening to the Lord would be telling him, you need to act on certain things now. He would give him strategies and tactics if he was listening to the Lord.
So do you believe at this point, prophetically, Trump is outside of God's will?
I think prophetically right now, he is going down the wrong path right now in a lot of areas. And people can get mad at me all they want to. I don't care. I just don't. I'm going to get some nasty comments, nasty emails. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
People can believe what they want to believe. But I'm just telling you now, look, God chose me to prophesy this man's entire agenda before he ever came into office. Some of this stuff is getting done, some of it is not. Some of this stuff is purposeful, like Susie Wiles, to steer him off away from America First agenda and to put him on other things like Gaza and other things internationally. And so I believe that, look, these wicked servants that are around the president that he chose are not there to serve the president. People have to understand this. Cash Patel, Susie Wiles, Paula White, all these stuff. They are there to handle the president through witchcraft influence, through demonic influence. And it's working.
Soothsaying.
Anyone with an ounce of discernment can see where the president is drifting off track. And I'm going to go into something else here that's about to take place. I'm going to warn people ahead of time what's fixing to happen. He's going to rededicate this country to God, supposedly. Right? Now, I don't know when that is. I don't know when the date is. If somebody has it, put it in the comments. But he's going to rededicate this country to God. My question is going to be, is he going to use the name of Jesus Christ? And what God is he speaking for? That's number 2. Number 3, how many different religions are going to be at this so-called rededication? How many are going to stand up there in the name of Hinduism or this religion or that religion? Or is Paula White going to get up there and give a speech about Mother Moon or whatever the case may be? That's going to be a telltale sign.
Yeah.
That this is not a dedication to a God, but not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Not to the Lord Jesus Christ that I want to hear come out of the president's mouth.
Yep.
That you never hear coming out of his mouth.
Not this mixture religious.
Not the mixture that the prophecies talk about, not the mixture that Gad talks about in the book of Gad, where the impure gets mixed with the pure. All of these things. This is where you can't have it. God is not going to be in it. You can dedicate this country all you want to God, but if you're going to have mixture on that stage, forget it. You're wasting your time.
Right. Yeah. So let's look a little bit about that. Let's look over a little bit of that mixture from some of this stuff that we're talking about, and we're done with that. Let's bring up some of this mixture.
Right there.
There we go.
Right there.
Yeah.
There's your mixture, guys. This is from Army Chaplain Corps. Today is Mahia Shivarati, whatever that is, celebrating the Lord Shiva's power to transform and renew. This Hindu festival calls for meditation, devotion, and introspection. May all who observe be inspired by Shiva's example of transformation to find clarity in their spiritual journey. Now, why in the world is Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, allowing this when he calls himself a man of God? This is the kind of mixture, guys, that should never be allowed.
Yep.
We are a Christian country founded on Christian principles. Everything else takes a back seat.
That's right.
Everything else takes a back seat. This is where I'm telling you the mixture is going to come in on this dedication. I can almost guarantee it. It's coming. Expect it. And go ahead.
I want to bring people to memory, though. Look around it. Okay, this is the same image also, and the same God that was outside of the is it CERN? Yeah, dedicated
Probably.
to CERN.
Yep.
It's the Shiva God. And it goes, they were trying to find the God particle and communicating with demonic manifestations, and they used the particle collider, right, to open up certain types of portals or whatnot, and that is the same statue or goddess that was dedicated in CERN. So, and keep in mind also, you see the gate that she's through. Apparently, this is the god that they communicate with at CERN. So,
and isn't this the same religion of Cash Patel, Hindu?
I mean, many of them claim it. Yeah.
Okay, so is this the same one that Trump lit the candle in the Oval Office with Cash Patel when they were celebrating the Hinduism? I'm not 100%.
They were celebrating.
Somebody can fact check that.
Can't remember the name right now. Diwali.
Yeah, who knows?
Diwali. I think it was Diwali.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
So and here's some of this mixture too.
Okay, here's another mixture. All right, so here it is right here. FBI Director Kash Patel's girlfriend, Alexis Wilkins, will be speaking at the pro-Israel Convention for Christian Zionists. I thought Kash Patel was a Hindu. I don't know what religion she is, but why is she even speaking at a Christian conference?
Right. And this is a Christian conference, right? So the biggest thing in bold that they want you to ask is how to be a Charlie Kirk. So wait, this is a Christian conference. You're saying You're asking how to be a Charlie Kirk. Well, in my personal experience, aren't we supposed to ask how we be more like Christ?
Thank you. I was just fixing to say it. But don't I want to be in the image of Christ, not in the image of Charlie Kirk?
That's what I'm saying.
You see the mixture here, folks?
Yeah.
Why is she even allowed to speak? Well, I don't even know who these guys are, who these speakers are, but it already says volumes about who these people are.
Right.
They're not serious about who the Lord Jesus is and what he represents.
No.
This is all about a platform. This is all about a narrative. This is all about steering the people in the wrong direction.
This is all about a movement, and I brought this up last time.
Yeah.
Is that guys need to be careful of these movements because you think that they're all righteous and all for a good cause. And
revivals.
Look, guys, they're bringing up someone that you don't even know is or is not a martyr.
Yep.
You don't know even the full story. They're still not sure about the full story of what happened to Charlie in the first place.
Yep.
You don't know if it's planned or if he really was a martyr or not. So that's what I'm saying. They're using, this movement is using things in the news and unverified and unpunishable offenses that still haven't taken place, such as even if we did see what we saw, like how was it taken, how did it happen, right? All of this is a cover-up, and you're having movements that people are following in this nation without having the truth of the situation. If this guy was or was not martyred, or if he was just murdered from a different country, or if it was an inside job, you don't know these things. And yet there's movements that are dedicated to this stuff right here. There's cover-ups. To me, it's just from the get-go. It's what you were describing a couple weeks ago about the foundation being on shifting sand.
Yep.
And this, to me, is exactly what this is.
Yep.
These movements in the name of Charlie Kirk and these movements in the name of patriotism, that's the shifting sand to me.
Yep. And that's what happens when you build the people's house on sand and not on the foundation of Christ.
That's right.
Christ alone.
That's right.
See, look, you get these offshoots of these movements like you're talking about, patriotic or Christian or revival, okay? How many false revivals have we seen that we've been calling out?
I haven't even seen a revival yet since I've been alive.
So I'm not a true one.
No.
And so, again, guys, just because something says the name of Jesus, just because something says we're coming in the name of the Lord, it doesn't mean he's in it.
No. Well, look at from what I understand, the government's going to start hiring Sean Foyt to go around the world and praise and worship. Have you seen that? Have you seen that story?
I haven't seen that.
That's something you guys might want to check out on your own. And you guys know about Sean Foyt. I've uncovered it here on ATKN. Sean Foyt is a grave soaker. And if you don't know what that is, he goes to a grave. He brought his child to a grave, to touch a grave, to soak up an anointing. At the age of his child was like, I don't know, newborn.
Right.
Having his son touch a grave, guys, this is weird stuff.
So the government's going to hire Sean Foyt to go around to worship God, right?
Yeah.
But yet they show the Shiva thing. You see what I'm saying?
Well, we know that Sean is under the authority of Kundalini anyway, which is the same god and goddess. Kundalini.
It's all Team Satan.
It is. Yeah.
It's all Team Satan. Either way.
Right. It's the
other thing I don't like with the president is when he says we have to save religion.
Right.
No.
No.
God's not into religion.
Re-
He wants relationship.
religion.
We need to save relationship with Christ. Save relationship with the Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
But yet you're going to have a stage filled probably with a bunch of religious leaders from 10 different religions speaking over this country that he, the most powerful voice on the planet, is probably going to allow, guys. He has sanctioned it already.
Oh.
So
but
be ready.
But yet he says that God saved him for this purpose. I don't believe God saved him for the purpose of bringing other gods on the stage.
No.
I just
he did
don't.
not.
I don't.
God is a very jealous God. He will share his glory with no one.
That's right.
And the problem is too many people have stuck Trump up to be an idol. And until people step up and start doing what we're doing and holding him accountable, nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
He has to be held accountable
Repentance.
for the promises that he has made out of his own mouth that he promised the American people, number one. Number two, repentance for the mistakes that he has made. And we can go right down the list of these mistakes. And so until that happens, he's setting himself up for a fall, guys.
There's also that news article that happened long ago where they were asking him, if he's repented,
right,
and turned his life over to the Lord, and that was a long time ago. I'm not saying that's his heart now, but what I'm saying is that based on that interview, he said, "Well, I'm a good person," and that's all he answered with. And so,
he says, "I don't think I did anything wrong."
Right. That too. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And so, I don't think I've done anything wrong. We've all done wrong because we've not measured up to the standard that Christ has set before us. And so that's why we've always done something wrong. Right. And we've always had something in our hearts that needs to be corrected. So that's one part of the gospel I don't think he's ever received. And so, or even been told.
Not when you have.
Yeah, when you have Paula White there.
When you have Paula White up there. Speaking of Paula White.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about Paula White. Let's show you who the president has as the number one spiritual advisor, the top head spiritual, who holds the key to the gate, if you will, spiritually, to the president.
Let's see it.
Let's play this.
The leader of
Can you
the
hear
bee
this?
family is always a female known as a queen bee. She's the only female that is fertile. Deborah, you're a queen bee. Come on. But here's what's so important. She is known for her dance. She is known for her dance. And it's not like some cute little, this kind of dance. It's not this kind of dance. She's known for her dance because when she gets ready to notify in the hive of a new source of food, she will perform a dance by vibrating her wings. Her wings start going into this like almost uncontrollable vibration and the moving of her body around. And the dance starts to communicate how far and in what direction the food is. She's the queen bee, and it's uphill against the wind. It will require more energy. So what she starts doing, if the amount of food, there is great dance. The dance will last longer and it'll be more enthusiastic. So what she starts doing, the longer the dance, the more bees she gets aroused. So queen bee starts going into this frenzy, and she starts going around and around and around, and she goes into vibrations until all the bees get activated and all the bees start going forth, and she leads the way by stirring something up. I dare you, Deborah. Come on, stir it up right now in the name of Jesus.
Don't stir it up.
Unbelievable, dude. Now, if you can't see right through this, what she's doing, she knows exactly what she's doing. What is she calling forth?
I think she's calling for sexuality from the pulpit.
She's activating something, which we've seen from other tours, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah? See where I'm going with this? Okay, so
let's see
I sent this to someone and who is an MK Ultra deliverance minister. And so I'm going to read a little bit about what was put out because of this. Okay, now they need a little more context. But I said, is there such thing as a queen bee in MK Ultra? I said she's activating and calling for something. Question mark. And this person says, yes, there is. The queen bee equates to the queen of heaven entity. Honey in a survivor's system equates to life force collected. The bees collect life force from within the system of a survivor, and from victims. One example of how it operates within the system is as follows: a child is hurt by their parents. This causes all sorts of emotions against what the parents have done. The child taught, give your emotions to the bees, the entities, and you can love your parents again. Emotions contain life force. And she says she'd have to see more context to see where this is going, if it's an activation or if she's activating. She is coding survivors to stir up emotions, to send more energy to their higher ups and entities who collect the energy. That energy is used for warfare and alchemy. The manifestation of that activation would result in you seeing people in society manifesting the emotions of having been abandoned, rejected, and hurt by their parents, so people become borderline emotionally. That means unstable. What are we seeing in today's time? Codes are going out, activating babies in survivor systems and parent abuses. That's the highest trauma experiences. We're on the brink of the release of the beast event that she has spoken about for years. So people look at her like, well, she's nuts. Well, no, not really. She's not, because she knows exactly what she's doing. So is she being handled by someone, and is she activating a program? I'll leave it up to you guys. Because that's not normal behavior. That's not normal teaching. That is not. You guys can look at that and judge it for yourself. Because I'm just telling you right now. If you have an ounce of discernment, you can tell something is extremely bad off with this woman. Number one, and number two, what she's doing in that video is not normal. And we all know that there's activations going on from these platforms for these MK Ultra survivors. We already exposed all of that with Rat.
So it goes along. I wanted to bring this up. I can't find the video now, but it goes along with what she said to Trump when she first met him. Is I don't want your money, sir. I got it. I don't want your fame. Right. I got it. I want your soul.
I want your soul, she said. She didn't say, I want you to have Jesus. She says, I want your soul. Mm-hmm. That's what she told Trump.
And so when you're going over and explaining that coding and what that reminds me a lot of what she said about Trump, and they're collectors, like you said, the collecting programming.
Life force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So that really goes along with it.
Well, you coupled her, who's the spiritual side, the spiritual tower, okay? Couple her with Susie Wiles, who's the political tower. Those two towers have to come down.
Yep.
They got to come down.
Yep. By the way,
the only one that can take him down is Trump.
By the way, I am looking back at some of our show notes, and it was called Diwali. When he lit the Oval Office ceremony. Yep. Okay.
But that's still part of Hinduism, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We have another semi truck in the news, and
shocker.
That will bring us to another one, dude. You called it. You're the only prophetic voice I've heard so far call anything about these semi trucks and how they're going to start being used to just wreak havoc from these illegals driving, and that's exactly what's going on right here. Another one. We covered one last week. This is about the Yamish family. This the 4 Yamish men that died. This is another one in Indiana. A different one was killed. An elderly man was killed in Indiana. Another incident. Illegal alien semi truck driver runs a red light and kills an elderly man in Indiana. And there we go. I mean, and ever since, Mark, you've brought it to the audience's attention that prophetic utterance has been coming to pass. Every few weeks, you're seeing more and more of the illegal aliens use these as weapons.
It grieves me to see this, because once again, we're not getting these illegals out of here and holding them accountable quick enough.
Right.
It's not happening. Matter of fact, we're pulling back. We just pulled out of Minnesota. And this is the president that's doing this. Look, at some point, you got to say, who do I point fingers at for this, Jay? And people say, well, Mark, you can't point fingers at it. That's because you're not directly affected. Your family hasn't been affected by this yet. But the second it is, trust me, you're going to point fingers at somebody. Now, who's it going to be? It's not going to be at Cash Patel. It's not going to be at Pam Bondi. It's not going to be at Kirsty Noem. I'm done with that because they speak for him. It's the buck starts and stops with the president. At some point, he's got to declare the Insurrection Act and use the military to get him out of here because we have 50 million illegals in this country. Maybe we're down to about 48 million at this point. You know what I mean? We're bringing 600,000 Chinese students in. It's like we're swapping one group for another for some reason.
And if it's not that, then it's the Islamic community.
Islamatization.
So I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to bring that up now, and let's go ahead and share this with our viewers because we want to talk about this just a little bit. And bring this
called world domination, and they have a very simple plan, and it's actually brilliant. It's infiltrate, populate, dominate, never assimilate, and then create a caliphate, and then bring upon Sharia law. It's the greatest threat to Western civilization. And if you notice, 85% of Muslim refugees, they don't go to other countries, their countries. They have 54 Muslim nations. You know why they come to Christian nations?
To change them.
And they do it by using our laws. Like Charlie Kirk said it best. Immigration without assimilation is an invasion. When I say that the world has a huge problem, and you've seen what happened in Europe, Europe has fallen, and we're too nice in America. We're letting people who come here who really don't love this country. I want to live in a country where everybody can practice the religion of their choice, but not have anybody threaten their right to exist or want to change this Christian nation that I'm living in.
Okay. Yep. Ain't that the truth?
So you're seeing entire cities taken over by Islam. You're seeing police departments taken over by Islam. You're seeing all these things again until we get these people out of here. This is what we're going to have to deal with, guys. You know, right now we're focused on Jared Kushner's plan to rebuild Gaza. It's not America first, as far as I'm concerned. This is what upsets me. This should upset everyone right now because
it's business as usual.
It's business as usual. And so again, unless your family is one, I just saw in where was it, North Carolina or somewhere around there, 2 illegals tied a guy up, broke into his house, tied him up, and raped him. So again, unless it affects you directly, people want to say, "Oh, but they make every excuse in the book for why we're not doing something." You know what I mean? This is part of the plan, or whatever the case may be. It's because your family hasn't been directly affected. The second you're directly affected, maybe you'll finally get in the fight at some point. Why is it, Jay, that America is always reactive and never proactive?
Because they're complacent.
You see what I'm saying?
They're complacent. They're comfortable.
We're always reactive. We wait until things get so bad, we finally react and get something done.
Because everyone's still comfortable.
Versus being proactive and getting it done before the bad things happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's business as usual. This is what we thought the president was going to change. He has not. He's had, 5 years now to affect change. Actually, longer than that. I don't care if Biden was in office. He still had a voice. He could use his voice. He hasn't done it.
No.
Or when he did use it, he hasn't kept that side of his bargain, with the American people, if that makes sense. And that's where people are getting angry.
Yep. Well, Mark, we're coming to the end of our time together, which is unfortunate. But I do have enough for one more story. And we could talk about the UK, if that's something because we ended on the UK, the assimilation and stuff.
Well, when we talk about how Europe has fallen, like that lady was talking about, we talk about how England's fallen in the UK. Look right here. A UK judge upholds London's Met Police rule, forcing members to declare membership in Freemasonry. Here comes Freemasonry out in the open now.
Yeah.
They're not even hiding it right now. They're bringing it right out in the open. So to be a cop, you got to be a Freemason, guys. So they're already controlling the law enforcement over there.
Yeah.
So, and this is where I get a little aggravated. We talk about, Marco Rubio was talking about how Europe has fallen. They need to get control of their illegal immigration. I'm thinking, why are we saying this to them? What a hypocrite.
Yeah.
The same thing with the president. Why are you condemning all these countries when we haven't even dealt with our own?
That's right.
Clean America up, because as America goes, so does the rest of the earth. If you clean America up and get these people out of here and deal with this and hold people accountable, guess what's going to happen in other countries? They're going to continue to do the same thing. It's going to have a domino effect.
We always tend to overlook our own problems, but think we can police the rest of the world.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, look,
it's like
this is why we have a lawless society, guys. This is why the illegals are killing people with semis, why they're raping people, they're killing people. Why? Because they know they can get away with it, because the Trump administration has done nothing to stop it. And furthermore, why are we paying to fly these people to another country on taxpayer dollars? If I have 50 Somalians, guess who's going to come get them? A plane out of Somalia is going to come over here free of charge. You send them here, you come get them. We're going to hold them. You got 24 hours to come get them.
Yeah.
Or we put sanctions on you, or whatever the consequences are. Why are we paying to fly these people out of here? We don't have the capacity to get them out of here. Proof of that is the fact that they're offering $3,000 a person to leave on your own. That tells you we don't have the capacity to get them out of here. Homeland Security doesn't. ICE doesn't. ICE is a distraction anyway. Border Patrol does not. We don't have the manpower or the capacity to deal with this many people. It's going to take military action.
This reminds me of, and where we are in America, it reminds me of the parable that Christ told to the people while they were gathered around and how they should be. And he described removing the log from your eye first, so you can see clear enough to remove someone else's eye. And I think here in America, where we're at, is we're trying to remove the speck in someone else's eye when we have a very large log in our own.
Massive.
And so that's where we're at. Yeah. We're at that point where we're ignoring the issues of what's here at home.
Right.
And we're going out and we're believing that we're good enough to start criticizing other countries and telling them how to rule.
Right. You can't sit there on the world stage and be a hypocrite in front of the entire world saying, hey, you need to deal with your illegal immigration when nothing's been done here.
That's right.
When we're killing people left and right here, innocent men, women, and kids, and we're doing nothing to stop it.
And we have too much corruption that's prevalent from businesses to the weather in America. We have corruption in our court systems. We have corruption in our
churches,
city councils, everything, everywhere.
Let's show that picture of that church, because I want to show the symbolism here, guys. Let's go to the church stuff now for just 1 second. I know we only got a few minutes.
Okay.
But let's look at the symbolism here. We're going to show you Illuminati symbolism here.
Gotcha. Illuminati symbolism. All right.
Look, wait, stop right there. Just don't even click on it. What's down in the bottom left-hand corner of Alan Jackson Ministries? What do you see there, guys?
Looks like to me a pyramid.
Illuminati symbolism? I don't even know who this guy is. But it just happened to pop up in my feed. So go ahead, click on it just long enough to watch the opening here.
Okay.
And watch the symbolism. Look at there. Let it go for a second.
Politics are not our problem. It's the anemic condition of the people of God. And Paul said there'll be fierce times because human character will deteriorate. And then he makes an interesting statement. He says people will be lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. They'll have a form of godliness, but deny its power. And then the next phrase is important.
Is he speaking to himself?
He didn't say live amongst them as evangelists.
Okay. So that's good. So what do you got down in the bottom right-hand corner?
You got the pyramid again.
That right there. You saw the opening. All of these things, guys. He must have went to the Clay Clark School of Business or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Look at this. It's. I don't even know what to say. If people cannot, if you can't discern, we've said 1,000 times on this show. If you can't discern, read the signs. These signs are as plain as day right here. Again, I don't know who this guy is, but you can go at church after church after church. You're going to see the pyramids after pyramid after pyramid where these guys are, in fact, linked with Illuminati, three-letter agencies, whatever the case may be. They've gone to this Clay Clark School of Business or Lance Wallnau School of Business, because we've shown Lance before with his business stuff. We was promoting people. We had the same symbolism. It's all part of the same system that God's going to burn to the ground.
Yep.
And so, speaking of burning to the ground, don't we have something here that just happened?
Yeah, we do. I'm going to go ahead and share that as
This
well.
will be the last thing we show.
Let's see, and there's a church right there. Reported explosion at church in Boonville, New York. Multiple people injured.
So this was a gas explosion that pretty much dang near leveled this place, this church here, guys. A lot of people will say, well, Mark, that was just this, that, and the other. Guys, you got to remember something. That the church is part of the system. God's hand of protection is off that system now.
Yep.
So the enemy has free reign, free rule to come in and wreak havoc. That is part of the judgment that God is releasing on the church system, on these ministries. And we've talked about before, you have the whole Sean Bowles thing going on.
Exposures.
All of these things, exposures going on. These guys should be in prison. The guys who covered it up should be in prison, should be doing prison time, because these guys have made millions off of fraud for how many years? They knew this was going on.
Yep. Disgusting.
Yep.
Disgusting. All right, guys. Thank you guys for being part of another episode of ATKN. That's Assembly of Kingdom Network, where you're seated in heavenly places. Mark, thank you for being here. Thank you for being my guest. I appreciate you. God bless you. I thank you so much, brother. God bless you guys. God bless your families, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Peace out.